In the 6th century BCE, the Indian subcontinent was fractured. 16 rival states, known as the Mahajanapadas, were locked in a continuous, brutal struggle for territorial dominance. Out of this chaotic confederacy, one state systematically eliminated its rivals to establish India's first true empire, Magadha. By 326 BCE, Magadha had generated a military force so massive and terrifying that it caused Alexander the Great's battle-hardened army to mutiny at the Beas River, rather than march east to face them. Magadha's supremacy was not a historical accident. It was the result of a compounding formula of geographical positioning, military innovation, and ruthless diplomacy. We call this the Magadhan accumulation model, and it was engineered by 3 specific consecutive dynasties: the Haryankas, the Shishunagas, and the Nandas. Understanding this compounding model organizes the data of ancient history into a predictable, logical system. Let's build it. The foundational axiom of Magadha's success was its exact location on the map, situated directly next to the Chotanagpur Plateau. This proximity gave Magadha early and exclusive access to rich, high-grade iron ore deposits long before their rivals could exploit similar resources. As this diagram shows, they channeled this iron into 2 distinct outputs. First, they forged superior agricultural plows to cut through the heavy soil of the Gangetic Plain, generating massive food surpluses. Second, they forged advanced, highly durable weaponry. They paired this mineral wealth with a second geographic asset, the dense, untamed forests stretching along their southern borders. Magadha systematically extracted wild elephants from these forests to construct a completely new type of military division. In ancient warfare, elephants functioned as heavy tanks. They stormed fortresses and shattered infantry lines, completely overpowering the lighter horse-drawn chariots used by rivals. This geographic monopoly on iron and elephants provided the base economic and physical power required to launch an empire. To protect that expanding wealth, Magadhan kings utilized 2 highly strategic, unconquerable capitals, beginning with Rajgriha, also known as Girivraja. Looking at this terrain, you can see exactly why Rajgriha was impenetrable. It was a natural land fortress, physically surrounded by a tight perimeter of 5 steep hills with stone walls sealing the gaps. Later, the ruler Udayan shifted the capital to Pataliputra, present-day Patna. Pataliputra occupied a unique geographic position, sitting exactly at the confluence of the mighty Ganga and Son rivers. This vast river expanse allowed Pataliputra to function as a Jala Durga, a water fort. It provided a massive defensive moat while simultaneously allowing Magadha to dominate inland river trade and secure rapid military communication routes. These dual capitals provided an unbreachable core. Magadhan armies could launch aggressive, long-range offensives knowing their homeland was entirely safe from invasion. The first rulers to fully weaponize this geographic advantage were the Haryanka dynasty, the group that developed Magadha's first phase of institutional expansion, starting with King Bimbisara. Bimbisara executed a highly effective 3-pronged strategy. He used direct military force to conquer the Anga kingdom, established diplomatic friendship with the powerful Avanti kingdom, and locked in his remaining borders through strategic marriages. This map tracks those high-yield alliances. He married Mahakosala, securing a village in Kashi and its 100,000 coins of revenue as dowry. He then married Princess Chelana of the Lichavi clan and Princess Kema of the Madra clan in Punjab. Bimbisara's son and successor, Ajatashatru, abandoned diplomacy for aggressive military expansion. He even defeated his own maternal uncle to annex Kosala. When Ajatashatru targeted the Lichavis of Vaishali, he introduced 2 specific technological innovations to break their defenses. The first was the Mahashila Kantaka, a massive stone-throwing catapult. The second was the Rathamusala. This was a heavily armored chariot equipped with swinging maces, designed specifically to inflict mass casualties on packed infantry formations. But the Haryankas also utilized institutional religious patronage as a tool of statecraft to legitimize their rule. Immediately following the Buddha's death in 483 BCE, Ajatashatru convened the first Buddhist council at Rajgriha. Through heavy siege weapons, strategic marriages, and religious alignment, the Haryanka dynasty effectively translated raw geography into hard territorial dominance. Following a series of patricicides that outraged the public, The people of Magadha drove out the Haryankas and elected a high-ranking viceroy, an Amatya, named Shishunaga as king. Here is Shishunaga's supreme military achievement. Following this purple arrow, you can track his forces pushing directly into Ujjain to destroy the formidable Pradyota dynasty. By completely absorbing Avanti, Shishunaga ended a century-old geopolitical rivalry and permanently secured Magadha's western frontiers. Shishunaga was succeeded by Kalashoka, also known in the Puranas as Kakavarna. For competitive exams, Kalashoka is tied to one vital milestone. 100 years after the first assembly, he convened the second Buddhist council in 383 BCE at Vaishali. Though their reign was brief, the Shishunagas successfully neutralized all external existential threats, creating a safe, unified theater for the empire's final form. That final form was the Nanda dynasty, the group that finalized a creation of India's first true continent-spanning empire. The founder, Mahapadma Nanda, broke the traditional ruling mold. Historical texts record his Shudra origins, marking the end of the strict Kshatriya monopoly on absolute power. He assumed two highly specific titles. He was the Ekarat, the sole sovereign, and the Sarva Kshatriyan Taka, the uprooter of the Kshatriyas, systematically destroying rival ruling families to absorb their lands. He drove his military deep into the south, conquering Kalinga and bringing back a sacred Jaina image to Magadha as a permanent victory trophy. By the time the final ruler, Dhanananda, took the throne, the state had transitioned into an intensely centralized bureaucratic machine. Dhanananda implemented a highly efficient taxation system across the empire. The revenue was funneled into one objective: maintaining a colossal, highly trained standing army. This hyper-funded military machine was the exact deterrent waiting at the Bias River. It proved the absolute triumph of the Magadhan accumulation model. Let's pull the variables of this accumulation model together. The foundation was geographic: unlimited access to iron, war elephants, and unbreachable mountain and river fortresses. The Haryankas added strategic matrimonial diplomacy, heavy catapults, and the first Buddhist council. The Shishunagas executed the total absorption of Avanti and hosted the second Buddhist council. And the Nandas finalized the structure through Mahapadma's Ekarat centralization and Dhanananda's massive standing army. This compounding timeline reveals the structural logic of ancient Indian